Welcome everybody to our October statewide meeting. If you don't know me, I think everybody on the call knows me, but if you don't know me, my name is Rick Kennedy. I'm the state chair of the Texas Forward Party, former two-time Democratic Party nominee for United States Congress. Got fed up with that whole process back in 2020 and joined the Forward Party in 2022 and have been trying to build a presence here in Texas ever since. So welcome everybody to tonight. We've got a few things to go over, hopefully some exciting news. What a brilliant segue. Thank you. The Forward Party, what we're all about. We believe everyday Americans should be able to decide what's best for them and their communities. That's why we're trying to build a party that puts power back in the hands of the American voter. And I mean all American voters, not just party base voters or party primary voters, which is where the power lies today. And we are a values-based party, and we're going to try to convey that tonight. If you could go to the next slide, please. Brandon, can you hear me? All right, tonight's agenda. Get ready for events. We're trying to put a bunch of events, a bunch of opportunities on the calendar for people to meet up both in real life and online. And the whole basis of that is to expand our forward community. We've got to build our footprint bigger than what it is now. And then we're going to talk about what it means to run as a forward party candidate. We are on the brink of, I know it doesn't feel like we're on the brink of an election, but we are on the brink of an election in 2026 when you consider the fact that to run in 2026, you have to file your intention to run by December 8th of 2025. So we are actively recruiting candidates to run and to run as forward candidates, and we'll get to that in depth as we move forward. And Brandon, I assume I'm handing it over to you here.
That is correct. All right. I think there's also maybe a little delay with my slides, so I will try to slow down. Last time when we met, I really tried to make the pitch as to the importance for in real life events. So this was the exact same slide we talked about last month. The key here, the missing piece, was this box over here on the right where it says insert happy faces here. So I am proud to report that quite a few of our counties and quite a few of our supporters have given us some of those happy faces. So in the course of the last month, here is some of the events that we captured on film or on camera. And we're going to talk about a couple of these things, but spanning from Travis County to Tarrant County, some online virtual meetings. We've got, John and Cheyenne at No Kings. We had some other No Kings events going on this last weekend. But really great to see this progress. Now we need to talk about how we go from, there were these handful of events that happened in September to doubling, tripling, and scaling across our counties. So this is what it looks like when we can put a face to these in real life. This is definitely a smiley face. This is our supporter, Sarah Flores. She came and helped at ACL on the street team. And this is what that looked like. It was a big event, but there were only 4 of us. I did recruit my family and some neighbors to work the lemonade stand. But 2 weekends ago at ACL, which for those of you that aren't familiar, ACL is Austin City Limits, roughly 75,000 people pass through the gates each day. We had one self-serve lemonade stand, a purple lemonade stand that we were saying pay it forward, so a kindness activity. And then we had 4 of us working the street handing out stickers. So lots of compliment stickers handed out over a 3-hour window. 15 gallons of lemonade. I then had leftover lemonade that I was able to water down and give to people when they left the festival at the end of the night, and also 15 gallons of water. And in doing that, the connection and people just saying thank you and asking, why are you doing this? And I was just saying, I only ask one thing, do something kind for someone tomorrow, pay it forward. Some people took a card, some people didn't. I had neighbors that asked for yard signs. We had people that said, how can I donate to the Forward Party? We gave them a QR code. The only challenge is during that time, cell reception is terrible. So most people were not able to actually get to our website during the event. But one of the things I wanted to share with you all is as we do these events, the street team, we really honed our messaging and how we were talking to the people as they zip by us. But we really internalized some of the key messages that we have here at Forward when it comes to our candidate pledge, our values, which stem from grace and tolerance, build from the bottom up, community first, respect and integrity. But the way it showed up in slogans and what we were saying really is this stuff down the purple. And I'm really excited to share this with you all because now we have some collateral that everybody else can start using. So think of it this way. There's shorter ways, different ways to say things. But what resonated, at least from some of the events and some of the conversation I've been having, is kindness, pay it forward, love your neighbor, fix the future. Short, sweet, but it's also what a lot of the folks I've been talking to, it resonates with them. So upcoming events, there is more out on our website, but here are some highlights in the next couple of weeks that if anyone is in Williamson or Travis, we've got some things going on. We also, for virtual and online, Rick will be talking about how we're going to walk through and start engaging and supporting our candidates. But we will have 2 AMAs, so 2 Ask Me Anythings, one this Thursday night and one this Sunday afternoon. So if anyone would like to hop on, you can ask Rick anything, but we're also going to really use it as a time to ask and get deep into how we can support candidates and for candidates to ask questions if someone is thinking about stepping up and leading. We also will talk about Halloween and a call to action. But here's one more thing, save the date, more to come. But as a minor party here in Texas, regardless of being on the ballot yet or being on the ballot in the future, we have to hold a state convention, and the state dictates when that convention must happen, which is on April 11th. But since I like a good party, I'm suggesting we start on Friday night and we roll into Saturday. But we will talk about the details in the months to come. But I'm super excited. Rick, any commentary on that?
Well, that's motivation, right? To get people out, a good party. Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
All right.
there's two phrases that I hate there, right? The first is minor party. I hate that phrase, right? But it is what it is. And the second phrase is the state dictates when this must happen, right? But the state, that is cast in state law, by the way, that the convention for a party nominating candidates by convention, which is what we are, that convention must happen on the weekend of April 10th and 11th in 2026. So we're stuck with the date.
All right, so I'm gonna quick go through this, but again, last time when we met, talk a little bit around what getting ballot access means, but why it's important and what really fuels that, and that's people. So getting ballot access is going to require supporters, is going to require candidates, and Rick's going to tell us about that. And some of you that are on the call maybe are going to help us in that endeavor. And then it really involves volunteers and leaders. And so for us to be successful, we have to grow our community and our network. Our candidates will need this. Our candidates will also bring along some supporters and volunteers as they come. But this is how we're going to drive the momentum and really get change going. So here's a couple things I want to leave you all with. And when I say a couple, the next slide is a little bit packed with call to actions. But first thing, we are in our second Taste of Texas Ranked Choice Voting contest. The first one was super successful. The kickoff day drove the most traffic to our website since we've been keeping track, since moving to our new website. And this one has also been very popular. So if you haven't voted yet, the link is down below. I'm going to paste a few things here in the chat as well. But go there, do the ranked choice voting. And this is a really easy one to engage with friends, families, and neighbors, and to explain how we can use modern day or more current approaches to driving to consensus and making decisions. And it doesn't always have to be this god-awful pile of fried food that we're trying to pick from. But let me tell you, ranked choice voting, 12 different choices at the state fair, does really help drive the point in us being able to agree on a majority favorite food at the state fair. All right, so call to action. There's a bunch of things on here, and here's my ask for everyone that's on and anyone that watches this video. Look at one of these bullets, pick one of these bullets, and take action on it. Some of them you could take action on right now. You could go to the link, you could do some of these things, but you can also make a plan for how to do this in the course of the next couple of weeks. So one, the ranked choice voting, it's open until this Thursday. It is one of the ways last month that I found a lot of new supporters, new volunteers, and struck up conversations with friends in my community, just talking about a fun thing that we're doing at the Forward Party. Check it out. Another thing is Halloween is right around the corner. We now have some material that you can print from home. You can order online and have some little mini cards sent to you. But for trick or treat, while you're handing out candy or you've got the little monsters coming by to grab candy, we've got these little, we're calling them mini cards, but it's the phrasing, love your neighbor, fix the future, talking about the importance of starting from community. Hand it to the parents if they're there trick-or-treating or if you're walking around. Jared Neff, who leads up our events team, he also created a print from home version of that mini card. So even if you don't want to go and order something from Kinko's Office Max or Canva, you can print and cut at home. You can also get the message out. In the links that I just sent, we now have a site at Forward at our website called just /print. So you can go texasforwardparty.org/print, and there are some materials that you can click on and get instructions as to how to order from Canva, how to download a PDF and take it to your printer, or some of these print at home. I had multiple neighbors that asked if they could get one of these yard signs that said, love your neighbor, fix the future. I see Missy Bledsoe on the screen. She's a new supporter here. She proudly hoisted our big sign that said, love your neighbor, fix the future at her neighborhood night out a couple weeks ago. So it resonates with some, but it's also a really easy way to just show like how we're leaning with kindness and also trying to connect people and start from the community. The next one is, for the longest time I was on calls and I'd hear Becky Neely say, gosh darn it, and if you're going to go to an event or you're going to be out representing the Forward Party, wear some purple. Well, I didn't have any Forward purple. I had all circa 2022. So everything was white and blue, gray. There are now a slew of purple shirts. I'm calling them volunteer slogan shirts that speak for themselves. Most of them have slogans on the back of the shirt. And today we just put a new one out there that is the love your neighbor, fix the future. And it's got a heart on the front with the Texas Forward flag. This one, I don't tell our treasurer, but we're making very little profit on donations on it. So it is going for a sweet, sweet price of $25, about $5 cheaper than the other shirts out there. But I'm telling you, you can make a statement by having a team and or having some of these slogans, and I think you can find something that probably resonates with you. Help build connections, bring a friend to events. So check out the events calendar. If there isn't an event, contact your county chair or host your own event. And then finally, if those 4 or 5 bullets aren't something you want to do, you don't have time, or it's not something that works for you, donate. We need help fueling and powering this movement. And so I also included the donate link down below. These are all things that some of you could do tonight, but that's also some things that we can do over the course of the next month. So last but not least, I just want to close. Here's what I'm going to do between now and the next time we get an update. I'm going to hand out 50 of those mini cards on Halloween or in the course of the next, week and a half. I'm going to get 3 of my friends or neighbors to put up a yard sign. We also are hosting our next happy hour here in Austin. So anyone that is nearby the Austin area, I'll be hosting, and I'm also going to make sure that we drive as many patrons at the bar. It's a new place here in Austin to the ranked choice voting. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, I finally decided to put some of my thoughts down since I was saying the same thing over and over and over again to a lot of my neighbors and friends. So I started a blog. I am making the commitment to blog every week, but I'm connecting kind of my experience here in Texas with my values and what I enjoy about the Forward Party. Again, if anyone's interested in how to do this, it's super easy, but I've had a lot of success in having conversations and opening up sort of the my why for why I am here at the Forward Party. So with that, I really encourage you all. This is the month that we need to power up and start engaging and driving connections. We got some pretty lofty goals for supporter growth. And now Rick is going to tell us about how we're going to handle the other goal, which is candidates. Rick, to you.
I gotcha. And here I am embarrassed wearing a generic gray t-shirt instead of something purple. All my forward stuff is all old. I gotta get out to the website. Yeah, there you go. You have my address. Ship that to me. Go ahead. What it means to run forward. Let's move to the next slide. All this talk we have about ideas and how we want to fix things needs to manifest itself for people in a much more tangible way. And that tangible way is with candidates on the ballot that we can rally around, that we can support, that we can build volunteer networks around, and that we can elect to office, hopefully. Now, back in 2024, I want to say we had just formed, but we had been together for a couple of years. But we were focused on gaining ballot access, and we pretty much failed in that effort, right? We were focused on raising millions of dollars with which we could go out and hire signature gathering firms that could gather those signatures for us, and get us on the ballot. And if we had done that, if we had accomplished that, yeah, we wouldn't have had the grassroots organization in place to actually support a candidate. So it was kind of a flawed strategy in the first place. And of course failed because we didn't raise the $4 million that it would have taken to get on the ballot back then. So our approach to 26 is definitely very different. Next slide. For those who don't have never heard me talk about it before, I'll very briefly talk about the barriers to ballot access that Texas, not the Forward Party, sorry, the Republican and the Democratic Party over the decades have put in place to prevent other parties from getting on the ballot here in Texas. It's one of the steepest challenges of any state in the country. In some states, it's quite easy to get your candidates on the ballot with the Forward Party affiliation beside them. In Texas, it's one of the most difficult things to do. You got to gather 81,000 signatures in a very short 75-day period that starts after the March 4th primary election next year and ends 75 days later, somewhere out in May. You have to get 81,000 valid signatures, which means you actually have to collect about 125,000 raw signatures, get them all vetted, get them all validated, and get them into the Secretary of State by that 75-day deadline. It's extremely difficult to do, which is why we had budgeted $3.5 to $4 million to try to do it back in 2024. This year, we want to do an end run around that barrier, around that hurdle to getting candidates on the ballot. So we want at least 3 legislative candidates for Texas House or Texas Senate to run as independents, but forward aligned independents. And the reason we want that is because indies have a much lower barrier to get on the ballot. All they have to do is gather, all they have to do, I've done it, it's not all that easy, but it's definitely doable, is gather 500 signatures in their district rather than 81,000 signatures statewide. So if they gather 500 signatures in their district, they'll be on the ballot, not as a Forward Party candidate, but as an independent candidate, but we will endorse them. We will allow them to use our branding, our logos, all of our symbols. They will, for all intents and purposes, look like a forward party candidate within the bounds of state law, of course, but they will be on the ballot as an independent. In addition to that, we want two statewide candidates, for railroad commission or ag commission or lieutenant governor or any statewide office. And one of those is needs to be a provocateur, if you will, a provocative candidate. One of those candidates has got to be messaging about giving choice to Texans for the next 10 years. Because if we get a statewide candidate on the ballot, and to do that, we need those 81,000 signatures, and then that statewide candidate gets more than 2% of the vote, which is all but guaranteed, then we are on the ballot for the next 10 years. So this candidate is the channel by which, the lever by which your independent voters, your moderate Democratic voters, your moderate Republican voters who feel like they are not represented in the legislature at all, this is their mechanism to get more choices on the ballot for the next 10 years. And when that ballot access is gained, any of those 3+ legislative candidates, and I'll take 10, I'll take 30 if we can get them, who are running as independents, who actually win their legislative seat, immediately affiliate with the forward party. And we have the beginnings of a presence in the Texas state legislature. And even if we don't gain ballot access, those indies will remain as forward aligned independents. And if, even if we had 15 independents in the state legislature, that might be enough to deny both the major parties the outright majority, and they would have to work with the independents to actually get anything done, which would provide a moderating influence. And in addition to all of that, I don't want to neglect the possibility of down ballot candidates as well. We at the moment have had about at least 30 people approach us with an interest in running in one of these capacities. And more than half of them are interested in running in nonpartisan down ballot races, city council, school boards. And these are very manageable races, especially for first-time candidates. They're low-cost races. They're going to cost $3,000 to $5,000 typically to run an effective race for a city council. Not a Houston city council. That's a different animal altogether, but relatively, I live in San Marcos. So a San Marcos city council race probably costs between $5,000 and $10,000 for an effective race, and school boards even less than that. And there's two things with that. First of all, it's a very manageable, it's a great way for a first-time candidate to try to break in and learn how to run a campaign, learn how to build support. But for forward, it's building a bench of candidates who can move to the next level in the future. So I don't want to discourage in any way somebody who wants to run for city council or school board from approaching us and asking for our support. Next slide. And oh, by the way, if you have a question here at any point in time, feel free to shout it out. Feel free to put it in the chat. Somebody will pick it up and interrupt me, and we'll answer it in real time.
That would be me right now, Rick. There was a question. Does the first bullet point refer to Texas state legislator or Texas state senate?
Go back, both, either. Primarily the House. We see the House as more malleable than the Senate. There's 31 Senate seats, one of which was competitive back in 2024. And of the 150 House seats, 6 to 8 were reasonably competitive back then. So we can have an influence in those elections. We could probably have more influence. And let's face it, I'm not against the Republican Party, but the Republicans hold the majority in the state House. Therefore, they would be more of a target than the Democrats in the state of Texas. And there may well be very good opportunities in districts where a Republican holds the seat and has held the seat for many years, and Democrats don't even bother to run against them. right? Because the Democratic Party brand is, let's face it, I ran as a Democrat twice, so I feel fully empowered to say this. The Democratic Party brand is poisoned in many of these districts here in the state of Texas. But there may be an opportunity for a forward party candidate or an independent to slide in, provide a viable alternative to the Republican, and gain enough votes to actually win the election. So, Raj, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, Rick, I just wanted to give you the good news that, for independent candidates, you need only 25 signatures, 5% of 500, for state or Senate, Texas state rep or Texas senator, and there's no filing fee, of which you mentioned. So this is coming straight off of the Secretary of State website. I can put the link in there.
Yeah, please do, because that makes it even better.
Yeah, for 2026.
I know it's 500 for a congressional candidate. I don't know if they've eased that in 20. They never ease anything as far as getting on a ballot is concerned. But
Yeah,
I'll be happy to be corrected in this situation.
U.S. Rep, Texas State Rep, Texas Senator, 5% of 500. That's 25 signatures with your nominating petition.
All right,
And
let's fact check that. But like I said, I'll be
yeah,
happy to be wrong.
I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then Rick, since we got about 20 minutes left, but there was a question around any discussion about U.S. representative. So I think just the larger positions
Yeah.
strategically, you've thought about it, and there's some guidance as to why we've done what we've done, right?
Yeah, we're certainly looking. The key strategic objective is to in the state legislature of Texas to deny both major parties the majority in either the state or the House or the Senate at the state level, to force them to come to the middle, basically, and moderate their views and moderate the legislation that's actually getting passed. The same argument could be made at the congressional level, but it's simply a matter of resources at this point. Congressional districts in the state of Texas are huge. 800,000 or so citizens in every district. They're geographically huge. A typical competitive congressional race is going to cost $8 or $10 million. And these are sums that we simply cannot realistically support at this point in our building. I have spoken to at least one potential candidate who very much realizes this. They took the same logical path that I took back in 2017 when I wanted to run as an independent and realized that it was impossible. Who will most likely run as a Democratic candidate for United States Congress and seek our endorsement and support. And by all means, we will support anybody who adheres to forward party principles and priorities. We will consider endorsing and supporting as best we can any congressional candidate or even a U.S. Senate candidate in the 2026 election. So, yeah. Okay. Run forward. So this is a beautiful moment for anybody who has considered running ever, who has been encouraged to run by your neighbors. This is the time to actually do it. You can step up, represent your community. You can lead authentically. We're not going to dictate to you, again, within the bounds of forward party principles and priorities. We're not going to dictate to you what your platform is, what your priority issues are. You get to lead authentically, and you get to make a difference for your community here in the state of Texas. So, we deserve leaders who actually serve our communities, not parties that perform. And believe me, at every level of government, there's more performative politics going on than there is actual policy making at this point. Communities need solutions, not slogans. And we intend to lift up everyday leaders. We make it possible for you. Maybe you got no political experience before, but we make it possible. We help you to put yourself in the race. And our intention is to put people over party at all times, no matter what happens in the future. I've always said to people, what happens, Rick? What happens to the forward party if you achieve your goals and you get rid of gerrymandering and you institute ranked choice voting, and then the Republicans and the Democrats all start winning again, but they win with legitimate. I'm like, if the forward party disappears at that point, it's mission accomplished. What we're about at this point is allowing everyday leaders to step up. Running alone, as I've mentioned several times, is basically impossible. If you run with one of the legacy parties, you'll get more support, more boots on the ground than you get with the forward party. I mean, that's just a simple fact. But along with that comes baggage and division and dictation from above about what your priorities and what your stances are going to be on particular issues. We're going to give you a different path, an authentic path forward. So, do I really have to drill into it? The old parties divide. All they talk about, even though the number one issue in anybody's polling these days is cost of living, is inflation. The old parties are leveraging the classic cultural issues to divide us, to distract from the issues that are truly important, the kitchen table issues that are truly important. And they do that by boxing people in. The party bosses are in control. Donors control a tremendous amount of activity. Anybody who wants to run as in the legacy parties, again, you do get a level of support that forward party can't give, but you also get a lot of baggage that comes along with that. If you run with us, or if you run as an independent supported by us, you get to decide what your platform is. You run authentically. You get the support with a lot less strings than would come with the other party. So we'll build this momentum together. I talked about a multi-tier approach where we want candidates who are running for state house and state senate, but we also want candidates, high-profile candidates, who are going to drive that ballot access wave. If you run with forward as either a forward candidate or as an endorsed forward independent, you'll get national branding and national reach. The national party will promote you. They've done this in other states. They'll do it here in Texas. You'll get volunteer support on the ground wherever we possibly can, especially in some of the bigger counties where we have a bigger footprint. And you'll get a lot of amplification without those strings that are attached by the legacy parties. And we got your back. We'll help you. I don't know how many people I've talked to in the last couple of weeks who want to run, but they've never run before and literally don't know what step one is. And we can guide you through all of that, just from all the right paperwork that's necessary, all the filings, the ethics filings that you might have to. We can guide you on all of that. Get your name on the ballot. We can get you through all the logistics, and then give you some coaching around what it takes to actually build a campaign team and get that team running for your benefit. Again, if we endorse you, and we hope to, we'll allow you to use branded templates and tools. You'll have volunteers across the state, and you'll get spotlighted on all of our social media channels at both the state and the national level. And this is who we're looking for. We're looking for people who are problem solvers, not performers. Your parents, your veterans, your teachers, your pastors, civic leaders, small business owners, all the people in the community right now who share the same level of frustration and, to a certain extent, a little bit of anger about the status quo in politics right now. We're looking for you to step up, and we're looking to have your back when you do step up and step into these leadership positions. One step at a time. September through November is when we explore and connect a possible candidacy. As I said, we've got at least 30 people in the pipeline at this point. Probably half of those are still actively pursuing, and more than half of those, I think, are bound to file paperwork in December when all is said and done. So by December 8th, if you're going to run as a forward party candidate, you have to with the Secretary of State to run us forward. If you can run as an independent, you run or you file paperwork that states your intention to run as an independent. It's not even a hard commit at that point. It's a soft commit on December 8th. Then in January, we start coaching. We have a cohort kickoff. We start coaching. We start moving people through the rest of the process. And then February, March, candidate launches, endorsements, etc. And we start to build momentum to that, to the signature gathering drive, as well as the state convention that Brandon mentioned in April. And believe me, you won't stand alone. There's a coalition of respected leaders that will be behind you all the way up to the national level. Andrew Yang, Governor Christine Todd Whitman, et cetera, will all be at your back in some way, shape, or form. Endorsements will prove or support your credibility as a candidate. And again, that national spotlight that will come down, laws allow it. You get a lot of donations from people who are out of state and a lot of donations for people who aren't necessarily in your district. So the national spotlight not only raises your name awareness, but will actually help you raise a little bit of money as well. And, I got to encourage you. I know it's a big step because I've done it myself. And it's a big step to put yourself out there and decide to run. But if not you, then who? If not now, then when? I encourage you to step up, run with us, take the candidate pledge, or if you know somebody you think would be a great candidate, we've got at least 2 of those in the last couple of days. Send them to me, and we'll start a conversation with them as well. And because this all starts with you, this isn't about us. This isn't about Rick Kennedy. This isn't about Brandon David. This is about you as a candidate. Okay. There's my email address, Rick Kennedy at texasforwardparty.org. If you want to run for office, I encourage you to drop me an email. You can always go straight to the national party at forwardparty.com/run for office. They'll take a lot of information about you and put you into the pipeline. But either way, those are 2 gateways into the pipeline to explore a run in 2026. And this is our candidate pledge. At some point in time during this process, you will have to go to the national site and sign on to this pledge. And it really shouldn't be a hurdle. Paying lip service to a set of values is easy. We want our candidates living by them. Democracy only works when people respect the established rules of the electoral system, and is set up to elevate the voice of the voter. And I guarantee you right now, I could talk for the next 2 hours about how the major parties manipulate elections and deny the voice of voters in every state across the nation, or almost every state across the nation. I said it a million times. Our congressional level and our state House and state Senate elections are rigged. You just know there's no uncertainty of that. They are rigged to elect, at least at the party level, if not a particular candidate. They are rigged to elect either a Democrat or a Republican, depending on who's in charge. And that's something that we definitely got to stop. And we want our candidates to sign a pledge to sign on to stopping. Candidates need to work collaboratively to craft long-term solutions for their community's most pressing problems. That means recognizing the most pressing problems that are actually affecting your community, not those pressing problems, if you will, or those false problems that we gin up to generate divisiveness and to excite the base and to rage bait the opposition, mostly to gain clicks and likes. And public servants should be role models for the community. I'm 63 years old. I've observed politics since I was, probably 6 years old back in 1968. Certainly 1972 when Nixon was running against McGovern. I was observant, if not totally understanding what was going on. And the quality of the people who are in our elected offices these days just do not treat everyone with respect and dignity. And they clearly do not act with ethics, integrity, and compassion. And that crosses party lines. you might think I'm demeaning the Trump administration at this point, but there have been plenty of examples across the spectrum of this bad behavior. And we want to elevate, once again, elevate our elected officials and our candidates to be role models for the community.
Hey, Rick, I just want to add, just for those of you that sometimes struggle to figure out like how to share what the Forward Party is about, I have found that this slide or just the at the candidate pledge site, um, I always use this to explain to people why we're different and like the type of people that we're looking to lift up as leaders. But this really embodies a lot of what Forward is about, and it makes it really easy to show something tangible as far as why we're trying to make politics different with leaders and who's pledging. So if you ever find yourself in a bind as far as what to put in front of someone or talk about what Forward is, I found this to be super helpful when it comes to conversations with someone that's starting to explore what the Forward Party is about. And yes, it says I'm Rick Kennedy. Sorry, I'm Brandon David. I'm signed in. And it's double count. Thank you, David, for asking. Brandon David, Austin, Texas, everyone.
He's been more of a clone for the last 8 weeks or so than, yeah. So he's my work husband at this point. John Keller has his hand up.
Rick, I just wanted you to remind people where you kind of caught my eye when you were saying we could coach our candidates about, deadlines and so on and so forth, and that stuff that no one's familiar with. But we also have some internal expertise in various subjects, policy initiatives that we've put some policy statements on our website.
Yep.
And so for a candidate going, gosh, I know healthcare or energy or whatever, and we can probably begin to get them versed and get their arms around how to speak intelligently on a particular policy. And for instance, energy's kind of everything's been quiet lately. The lights go off once or twice or three times this winter. That's going to be front and center on everybody's agenda. So we can offer you some coaching to how to begin to organize your thoughts around certain policies.
And great point, John. Thank you for reminding me. And when we talk about policy, we talk about policy possibilities and allow the candidate to come down with policy specifics. But it's a great point. We can start coaching people. Maybe I'll use Montgomery County. Montgomery County had a water crisis not too long ago, right? But maybe and it's a huge issue within the county. So maybe you want to address that issue as a candidate, but you're not exactly an expert on it. We can help out with generate or help you form policy positions on it without dictating those policy positions to you. Again, call to action. If you're thinking of running, if you know someone that is running who might want a forward endorsement, or if you want to pitch somebody to run, let's talk. Again, my email address is rick.kennedy@texasforwardparty.org, or go to texasforwardparty.com, the national level, and click the Run for Office button. Either way, that will get to me, and we can start the conversation and carry it on from there. And I believe we are at the end of the deck. We are indeed. So I don't know if there's any questions in the chat. I will absolutely entertain questions verbally. I know we are at our 45-minute time, but I've been known to stay on 20 minutes past to answer questions. So if there's any, shout them out. Or Brandon,
There's
any
two
in the
of them,
chat?
Rick. One
Okay.
was, will independent candidates be allowed on the ballot for the primaries?
No. Oh.
Yeah. No
Okay.
primaries.
You get me started here. The primaries are for the major parties. They are for the Democratic and the Republican parties. And let me be very blunt and succinct. The Democratic Party and the Republican party are private organizations. They are the equivalent of companies. They take in revenue in the form of donations. They have a product, and their product is presenting candidates for office. They are private organizations. They pay their people. I mean, the whole bit. They are not the government. And yet the government, meaning the taxpayers, subsidize their primaries for them. And why is that? Well, because they write the laws, right? They wrote the rules. Now, the smaller parties, be it the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, or the Forward Party, we are not allowed to have primary elections. We must nominate our candidates, and this is by state law. We must nominate our candidates through a convention process. So at that convention, that state convention that Brandon mentioned in April, we will formally nominate our candidates for lieutenant governor, railroad commissioner, ag commissioner, whatever it might be. We will formally nominate our candidates there. Now, and here's the other gotcha. If you vote in one of the primaries, either a Republican or a Democratic primary, you may not know this. You become affiliated legally with the Republican or Democratic Party, and you may not participate in the activities of any other party for the balance of the year. So if you go out and vote in the Democratic primary in March, you commit a crime if you try to vote in the Republican runoff in May, or you commit a crime if you try to participate in the Forward Party convention in April. It's very restrictive. It's extremely restrictive. So we are barred by law from primaries. And quite frankly, we don't want to use taxpayer money to support our private organization's nomination process. It's a great question. Really got me going.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah.
All right. Someone asked, will there be a transcript and recording after this call? The recording is working. We'll see how good the transcript is, but we will get that out there, especially since I know a lot of people couldn't make it tonight. Rick, there is someone who's calling in as user iPhone who says they will be running for governor as a Forward Party candidate as soon as their website is completed. So for that individual, I don't think we've seen them come through, but reach out. Rick, you see Ed Graham's face on this screen, and myself have been kind of candidate operations for the last month. You reach out and we'll get you in the pipeline if that's something you're curious about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw one question about 500 signatures, but I missed it. It went off my screen.
Do independent candidates, 500 signatures, have to be people that did not participate in the
Yes.
primaries?
Yes, absolutely. By signing one of these signatures, you are officially participating in the activities of a different party. So again, God bless the state legislature. If you do that, you actually commit a crime. Not that anybody's going to prosecute, but you never know. They might make a big deal.
I like to live on the edge, but
yeah, don't do not live on the edge, please.
And we are going to be, this will be the focus of discussion this coming up Thursday on the Ask Me Anything with Rick. So that'll be on Thursday night. I believe the time is 7:30, but you guys can correct me. It's out on our events page.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay. And then on Sunday, for those that can't make an evening call, we're going to do another one this Sunday at 2 p.m. in between whatever the Houston Texans are doing on the field, I think is who we're competing with, but we're trying to thread the needle between the football games that on Sunday.
It's an important consideration.
That's right. Someone asked, oh, okay, no, it wasn't asked, it was a statement. Yeah, what do you need to win? Why can't you gather the signatures in Texas? Okay, yeah, I think Becky answered it, but we can gather signatures just about anywhere.
Anywhere. Absolutely.
As long as, and again, registered voters is going to be what we're going to be focused on, not voted in the primaries. So some of our lead up to March for supporters who are backing and supporting Forward, we're going to make sure they're aware of how they can be successful in signing our ballot access pledge. But then post primaries, we'll be able to have real conversations with people that know that they did not vote and they're registered, and those will be the folks that we will be looking to have conversations with and get their support to get us on the ballot.
Yep. While we will certainly be blanking the state wherever we can with opportunities to sign the petition, there is no geographic requirement to say have at least 5 signatures from every county in the state or something like that. Theoretically, I could gather 81,000 plus signatures here in the city of San Marcos, even though that's greater than the population. So I guess that probably wouldn't. But you could get 81,000. Yeah, you could get 81,000 signatures in Austin, and it qualifies.
There is a question here. David's asking about kind of news or sort of the sentiment about people don't want to waste their vote for independence. And why,
Yeah, there's a narrative there that we have to start countering. First of all, if people understand that you're in a district that is gerrymandered 10 or 15 points one way or the other, there is no wasted vote because the outcome's already decided, right? So there is no wasted vote in that situation. There is no spoiler effect in that situation as well. There could be a spoiler effect in a closely contested district as well. But, my stance at this point is we have to attack that narrative head on. And basically with the question, so the status quo is working for you? Really? Are you happy with what the status quo is now? Then by all means, continue to vote the way you're voting now and continue to be happy with the status quo. I would venture to guess that at least 60% of the people would answer that question with, no, we're not happy with the status quo. And I'd be like, well, start to turn the momentum the other way then. Start voting for somebody who's not a Republican or a Democrat, and start getting, start raising your voice to what you believe is right. And if the status quo is not what you believe is right, then the only way you have to raise your voice is to vote for something else. I really got to go on the offensive against the spoiler effect and the wasted vote thing, because nothing's going to change if people continue to hold on to that narrative. Winning an election, the Forward Party winning an election would, of course, be earth-shattering news. But what also would be earth-shattering news would be a Forward Party candidate not winning the election, but in a Republican-leaning district getting more votes than the Democrat, or in a Democrat-leaning district getting more votes than the Republican. That would also be earth-shattering news. And while the general population might not be so shaken by that, believe me, the political infrastructure would be shaken to the core by such an event. Any more out there? All right, it's quiet. Oh, nope, what's that?
One more about most active social media channels, best way to get involved in your area, contacting the county chairs.
Yep.
So Zachary asked that. Social media channels, I think, there's definitely a shift from how people interact with social media over the last couple of years. That we've got presence on Facebook and Twitter, and we are really leaning into some content that that actually demonstrates how we are, really want to engage with communities and have things that are authentic. So you're going to see some stuff coming out here as soon as this weekend and next week that I'm super excited about. As far as contacting county chairs, Rick, anything you want to add there as far as your advice, or if there's any county chairs here that want to say anything?
I think Becky put in the chat how to get to a county chair. If somebody wants to ask about a specific county, whether or not we have a chair, please put that in the chat. We've got chairs in 15 of the most populous counties in the state. It's 33 million people in the state. We've got chairs in counties that represent 18, 19 million people. So we're in the biggest counties. But if you are in, you know, a far-flung county, if you're in Lubbock, we don't have a county chair up there. If you'd like to be a county chair, please step up. But if you're in Lubbock or Amarillo, we don't have chairs up in the Panhandle. But we certainly will entertain anybody who wants to step up.
And then Raj, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, Rick, I just wanted to stand corrected. It's 5% of the votes in the last election, not 5% of.
Not 5% of the 500, right? Okay.
Right. So I
Okay.
stand corrected.
I feel a little better about my research. As a guy who has swum in the Texas election code, not a lawyer, but you know, it's surprisingly readable and understandable. There's not a lot of lawyerese, if you will, in the election code. And as a guy who's swum around in the election code for the last 3 years, yeah, I feel a little better about my reading comprehension at this point. But even so, 500 signatures with a dedicated team of less than a handful of volunteers and a candidate going out knocking doors, you can rack up 500 signatures in a week or two.
Right, we are almost at the top of the hour, Rick. So I think we are good. This was awesome. Thank you for thank you everyone for attending this October update. We look forward to seeing everyone in November. Please check out our events page. And if you want to host an event or there's something that you think would work well with your community, your neighbors, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to your county chair. You can reach out to Rick. Send in your ideas. We are looking to engage and raise up voices wherever voices want to be heard. So please spread the word. I really hope one of those call to actions inspired you to take some type of action, whether it was to buy a shirt, to donate, to print some material, or plan to attend an event. But we really look forward to seeing everybody on future updates and in person. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you.